This is Doc Ock coming to you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening with another installment of Doc Ock at noon and 9. And tonight, as promised, we're going to be continuing our story, which is entitled Martin Luther King, A Montgomery Story. And so this is the book that inspired John Lewis to write the book that he wrote, the three-part series that he wrote that we read earlier in the week, entitled, don't have it here, entitled March, Book 1, 2, and there's even a Book 3. It's a three-part series. So we're going to read from the book that inspired him or inspired that story. All right. Uh-oh. I just hit the wrong button over here. Let's see if I can correct this. But meanwhile, let's go ahead and, let me remind you, if you haven't already, don't forget to give us a like. If you're seeing us on Facebook, if you're seeing us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. If you're seeing us on Facebook, you will not see all the imagery that you should be seeing or that you will see on YouTube. So if you want to see all the imagery from the book that we're reading, then you need to go on over to YouTube, and while you're there, go ahead and sign up, or what's the word for it? Subscribe. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would, that would be excelente vivante. Okay, here we go here. And the book that we're reading tonight is this book right over here. There you go. Now you can see the copy of the book, Martin Luther King and the Montgomery Story. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and do our opening salute with a proverb. Okay. All right, here goes a good one here for tonight in particular. I'll tell you, these things, these proverbs are so deep that I can literally open this book up every night, anywhere in the book, and I can always find a proverb that's relevant to the topic that we're dealing with right now. And so tonight it opens up to the proverb, he who has done evil expects evil. He who has done evil expects evil. So I guess that's like evil is as evil does. Or maybe evil can evil. Yeah, some of y'all recognize that. There's a little play on words there. Some of you older people out there, some of the young people aren't going to recognize that. But evil can evil. All right, now let's see if we can get over here to our story over here too, because I had it up over here yesterday. All right, and I said this is a first for us, using digital copy for our story. This is absolutely a first, using digital copy for the story. But I don't know what happened. I just pressed a button here, and it looks like where I was trying to go, the doggone thing didn't go. Weird. Let's try that one more time. Let's see what happens here. There. That's what I asked it for. I don't know why it opened up this other one. Okay. So let's go ahead and transition back to the book, and we'll flip through some of the pages until we get to the page that we left off on. And there we go. We leave off on this page? Yeah. Go back to this page right here. Okay. So we'll go back even one more page, just to right here. All right. And let's see here. And I can go up here. All right. So what he's gonna talk about here is what happened after the bus company agreed to end segregation on the buses. So even after they agreed to actually, what they were agreeing to is just to follow the law of the land. So it really wasn't much of an agreement at all. They were just agreeing to do what they should have been doing all the while, which is following the law as dictated by the Supreme Court of the United States of America. So here a woman gets on a bus, and the bus driver says, makes the woman pay her fare twice. Then she says she's gonna go home and pray for the man, and the man says, you know what? Here's your money back. I don't want no extra fare from you because I don't want you praying for me. He got upset about that. On another bus, someone slapped a woman. And the woman starts thinking in her head, I could really wallop him. He's smaller than me, but I'm going to remember what Reverend King told me about peace and nonviolence. I'll just keep my hands clasped. That way there won't be any trouble. So she's going to just hold on to herself, okay, to make sure that there is no trouble. Not on her account. And then last but not least, here I should have gone this way. At first, a few buses on night runs were peppered with shotgun blasts. Crash! Then things seemed to quiet down, but it was a false quiet. It was the quiet before the storm. The KKK paraded through the streets. Crosses were burned in the night. Then the night bombings began. There were 7 of them. One of the homes bombed was that of Reverend Gretz, a white pastor of a Negro Lutheran church, who had been one of us right from the start. I am planted a tree in this bomb crater to remind us that in the midst of death, there is life and there's hope. Negro churches were bombed, and an unexploded bomb was found on King's front porch. But now Montgomery's law-abiding white citizens turned against the violence. It's got to stop. These bombings are giving Montgomery a bad name. I agree. The bus fight is over anyway. It's the law of the land. If what happened here is a victory for anyone at all, it's for all Montgomery. We respect ourselves more, and we know that the idea of love and nonviolence is spreading. I've thrown my gun away. It had gotten much too heavy for me to ever lift again. And I believe that's this man Jones that they were talking about here. I think that's still him, Mr. Jones. He's just a random person. He's not a main character. He's more like a narrator in this case. So now we get to this part here. Martin Luther King tells how a nation won its freedom by the Montgomery method. First question that comes to my mind is, what nation is he talking about? Is he talking about the USA? Because this country believes in the gun religiously, the gun and the Bible. Years before our walk to freedom, a country of 300 million people won its independence by the same methods we used. Mahatma Gandhi started his campaign for freedom in India in 1919. It looked hopeless. The British Empire was the strongest the world has ever known. India's people were poor and powerless. The new campaign again and again, they put Ghandi in prison, but that did not stop him. He would wait patiently, thinking and praying. And as soon as he was out, he would start all over again. The new campaign meant suffering, even death. When Gandhi called on the people to fast and pray to protest, of bad law, the British shot down hundreds of them at Amritsar. It raised horrified protest all over the world. Millions of the poorer people in India were called untouchables. They could not even use the public highway. Gandhi renamed them Harijan, children of God, and led them to stand in the forbidden road. It took 15 months of standing, but then the police gave in and let them free and let them pass. The British put a tax on salt and said Indians could not make their own salt. So in other words, they had to buy it from the British, and then the British put a tax on it, some extra money they had to pay just for the privilege of buying this British salt. Gandhi walked with his followers 200 miles to the sea to break the law by gathering salt. Soon the jails were overflowing with Indians, and the British did away with the salt tax. It became harder and harder for the British to keep control. Their jails were filled with India's best-loved leaders, including such men as Nehru, who later became prime minister. Besides the news that British soldiers were shooting unarmed men and women and putting leaders in jail was troubling the British at home. The voters in my district don't like what we're doing in India. We'll have to get out. That's clear. Finally, the British gave in and granted India's independence. Gandhi had made a revolution without firing not one bullet. It wasn't easy. It took years of nonviolent struggle, many long hours of prayer and suffering. The Indians were shot and beaten, but never licked. They won their freedom and something else too. They won the friendship and respect of the British. This is the unusual thing about nonviolence. Nobody is defeated. Everybody shares in the victory. So, now the question is, how does this Montgomery method work? In Montgomery, we use this nonviolent Christian action, otherwise known as nonviolent direct action, to get Jim Crow off the buses. It can be used anywhere, though, against any kind of evil. Here is how it works. First, remember that you can do something about the situation, not just the government or some big organization, but you. God says you are important. He needs you to change things. The second thing is much harder. God loves your enemy too, and that makes him important to you. You have to see him as a human being like yourself. You have to try to understand him and sympathize with him. To see your enemy as a human being, you have to stop seeing him as your enemy, even when he does cruel, heartless things to you. He is a child of God. He is your brother, even when he hurts you. Hardest of all, you have to help your enemy to see you as a human being. He has to see you as a person who wants the same kind of things he wants: love, a family, a job, the respect of his neighbors. It will be easier for him to see you this way if you act like a brother. So even when he tries to hurt you, you must not strike back. Even in your thoughts, you must not strike back. You must go on loving him. Like the schoolgirl in Little Rock, you must say, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." This does not mean giving up, though. It is wrong for this brother of yours to treat you as though you were not a human being. And it would be wrong for you to help him treat you this way. You have to do something to stop him. He is a human being, and so he can treat you badly only because somehow he is afraid of you or of what you might do to him. If you try to stop him by using violence and by getting even, he will be sure he is right in being afraid of you. If you show him love, though, you start to take away the reason for his fear and you make it harder for him to go on hating you. Here's how to go about it. First, decide what special thing you're going to work on in Montgomery. It was buses. Somewhere else, it might be voting or schools or integrated churches. Don't try to deal with every wrong thing at once. Second, be sure you know the facts about the situation. Don't act on the basis of rumors or half-truths. Investigate, find out, do your research, do your homework. Number 3, where you can talk to the people concerned. Try to explain how you feel, why you feel like you do. Don't argue. Just tell them your side and listen to theirs. Sometimes you'll be surprised to find friends among those you thought were enemies. Next, be sure you are ready. Join with others who feel the way you do. Have someone with experience come in to tell you how to get ready. Try practice situations like we did in Montgomery. Make sure you can face any opposition without hitting back or running away or hating anybody. When you are ready, then go ahead and don't turn back. No matter how hard the way or how long the struggle, when my friend, the Reverend Ralph Abernathy, found himself about to be put in jail in Montgomery, he prayed, God, I'm afraid to go to jail. I've never been in jail before. If I go, God, will you go with me? Now that's a funny one. He asking God to go to jail with him. Who asked God to go to jail with him? And God answered, Ralph, you go ahead to jail, and when you get there, you'll find me waiting there for you. That's how it will be with you too. When the going gets hardest, if you remain true to Christian love, you'll find God waiting there for you, holding you and supporting you, giving you a victory far beyond what you had hoped. So this booklet was published by the Fellowship of Reconciliation, otherwise known as FOR, or FOR, whose thousands of members throughout the world attempt to practice the things that Jesus taught about overcoming evil with good. You can get more copies, or you could at that time, at quantity rates and other printed material on the subject by writing to FOR. At that time, they were in Nyack, New York. But I doubt that they're still at that address. I don't even know if they still exist anymore. But at any rate, that is the story of Martin Luther King and Montgomery. The Montgomery Story. Martin Luther King and the Montgomery Story. So now you know a little more than you knew before. So be thankful that we were able to bring the story to you in a way that would be somewhat entertaining. And I'm hoping that everybody did some gaining while we were over here being entertaining. Now, in the meantime, it's time for us to go. We're already past our time. We're at 27 minutes and 32 seconds. So let's go ahead and wrap this baby up. All you little children out there, you know what time it is. And I don't have to give you no quiz because you a whiz. You know exactly what time it is and what you need to do right now. Lay your little head on your little pillow on your little bed. Close those your eyes and wait for that sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, that's when you know it's time to rise and shine, oh children of mine. As for you adults, you know what time it is too. If you've already given us a like on Facebook or you've subscribed to our YouTube channel, the Tubular Black Facts channel, then it's time now to go ahead and make that next step. Take that next step. We've got a lot of work to do, and we need your help to do it. If you don't mind, it would be real grand if you could go ahead and give us a donation. No matter how large or how small, all donations are truly acceptable and welcome. Although you do, the smallest donation is $5 if you're doing it on Facebook, which we have a link right below, so it's easy to do. Okay, we got it already set up for you. And you can make that a one-time donation or a recurring donation. That will make you a sustaining member. And that's what we're trolling for right now. We are trolling for sustaining members. Members who will be given to us on a very regular basis. Once $5 a month would be really grand, and it'll help us be able to acquire some land. Because this house, this building that we're in right here, we want to turn that into the official Crosby Archives, where we can continue the work that we're doing now and expand it. That's what we want to do. We want to make this the locus and the focus for Black history, not just in the U.S., but globally. We're working on a global plan. So go ahead, send those donations in. If you're in Zimbabwe, you can make a donation. If you're in Sweden, you can make a donation. If you're in Switzerland, you can make a donation in your currency. Okay? It'll automatically get translated into US dollars. So everything is everything. But please do go ahead and make the donations. And if you can't do that, then at least go ahead and put the word out among your friends and family, because somebody out there will be able to help us out on the economic tip as well. We appreciate your thoughts, your prayers, as well as your support. We'll be black tomorrow. That will be the weekend, and we will be doing our usual special. Look for Malcolm X Speaks on Facebook. We'll have the link to the playlist. The playlist will be going up on YouTube, and we'll have some more words directly from the mouth, the voice of Malcolm X, Haj Malik El Shabazz. Peace out, y'all. We'll be black tomorrow. I hope you'll be there with us. 12 o'clock noon. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9, signing out. Peace out.